Hey, it's Tim, Pickup Truck Plus SUV Talk. Welcome to another Friday news recap. Dun, dun, dun. Joined by the ever wonderful Jill Simonello, 5 Wonder. There she is. She is in Arizona. I'm in Nebraska as usual. We're gonna do this way. It's gonna be awesome. It's gonna be fantastic.
We're trying something new yet again.
Yes.
For our different locations, and I'm still not at home, so I apologize in advance if my Wi-Fi is wonky.
Thanks for being a guinea pig, sticking with us, folks. Let's launch into the news. Again, this news recaps for you guys. We see a lot of news items during the week that we don't have a chance to turn into stories or videos, whatever. And we just like to talk about them because there's sometimes small items that, well, they're kind of fun to talk about. That's what happens. So I'm going to go like this. And then we have the first one.
Oh, this is a good one.
This is interesting. So Apple announced, I think it was last week or earlier this week, whatever, they had their annual conference. I don't really pay much attention to Apple annual conference, but in the conference, they said that Apple CarPlay is going beyond the infotainment screen. Beyond the infotainment screen. And basically what the thought here is that they're going to take over the entire dash. So from the dash all the way across, they'll have Apple CarPlay and they'll manage everything. And I thought this is really interesting. And so I forget what the thing was. Users can add trip info, climate control, weather, updated navigation system, fuel and battery levels, and more. You can adapt to different screen sizes and has an all-new interface that's like having an iPad on the center screen. So automakers have been going digital for a while. We've seen this. But we haven't seen Apple completely take over stuff. But I think some people just, they prefer that over any other system out there. Just have Apple do it, or Android Auto.
I just have to wonder how that's going to work, because you plug your phone into the car and then everything from like your climate controls to your audio controls are now going to be managed by Apple CarPlay. And so, I mean, there's a lot of communication that's going to have to go on between Apple CarPlay and the actual vehicle. And I mean, in my brain, I'm like, oh, that's cool. Wait a minute. There's a lot of stuff that's going to go wrong here.
Yeah, I mean, I think what's exciting about it is, I think from a manufacturing standpoint and automaker standpoint, they spend millions upon billions in R&D time for infotainment systems. So, boom, it's gone. You just got to provide the screen. And so that'd be a little more profitable for them. But then they wouldn't control the system in the case of like these connected services that require a monthly subscription. If it all goes Apple CarPlay, well, you don't make those dollar signs. So I don't know. It's interesting.
Well, and so then that opens up a whole nother question. If you don't have an Apple phone, like, what does the native infotainment system look like? And they're still going to have to build it out to be just as robust as what it is right now. And are they going to have a similar Android system? If you plug in your Google phone or your Android phone, is there going to be an Android Auto version of the Apple CarPlay takeover? And are there still going to be subscription services? And will Apple start to introduce subscription services, because they're trying to make money too? And so, if remote start is through Apple CarPlay, is there now going to be some kind of a subscription service for Apple CarPlay to run through the vehicle?
Yeah, it has lots of questions. I mean, there's lots of stuff going on. Then also you're asking automakers to give up like control of people.
Yeah.
And so you imagine like a customer going to the dealership and being like, I can't get my mile per gallon to show up on my screen. And they're like, go talk to Apple.
Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah. How's that work? So it's interesting, pretty controversial in my opinion. And I'm not sure we're heading with that. Speaking of controversial and maybe foot in the mouth, CEO Jim Farley had a comment this week that lit the world on fire. And people have been commenting about this. And it was basically taken out of context. And so here's the deal. He was at a conference, the name of this conference, the Alliance Bernstein Strategic Decisions Conference, the 2022 version of this, And he was talking about the business. And it was like a long interview, I guess. I mean, it was towards the tail end. He had made a comment that he thinks things are going to get consolidated. Well, the same thing that Marchoni has said years before he passed away, that there's too many players in the automotive marketplace. All these startups, like, they're just going to eventually get consolidated because of R&D costs and kind of stuff. And the small players can't make the transition. He went on to say that they're all electric models of vehicles. They need to get more of them on the marketplace, and they need to probably stop selling to dealers and go 100% direct to customer. Oh, wait. That's basically what he said, but not really what he said.
But it's actually what he said.
Yeah, we've been digging around and we can't find the actual replacement quote. So I'm on Ford Authority right now. Auto News has a story as well. I mean, basically what he said was, look, he says we need to get the way COVID has changed things, the way we're selling things MSRP these days, the way customers just taking delivery from the dealerships. We're gonna start moving towards that model of having more online sales, not direct to consumer, but through dealerships, getting more that made to order. So for
Yeah.
years, the American market has been throw a bunch of stuff in dealership lot, let the consumer decide. But now with COVID and supply issues and stuff, automakers are going, well, wait a minute, I can sell direct to consumer in a way, and I don't have all these different configuration stuff. I cut down on cost. I don't have all this inventory state dealerships changing things. This is the way Europe has done stuff for years. Europe has gone, you order something and 3 months later your car comes in, and customers like it because they get exactly what they want. They don't have to work. They have to sacrifice things. And so he made a really interesting comment, and it's like I said, he still wants to have dealers because they have to have dealers the way the law is written in the country, and we do need dealers, right? So dealers educate, they service. Yeah, there's a lot of pieces to it, but people were like, well, Ford's going 100% direct just like Tesla is, and that's the way it's got to be.
Yeah, and by the way, this is not necessarily anything new from Ford. Like they've been saying all along that they want to go to more of a direct order system, where they don't want to carry a lot of inventory on dealer lots. So the idea is you get exactly what you want because you ordered it online that way, and you probably order it online through a local dealer, and then you can have it delivered to your home. You can take delivery at the dealership should you want to do that to get some education on the vehicle that you just bought, because in a way it's much more like this than something that you are driving these days. There's so much technology in it, you probably need a little bit of help, but I think the way he said it at this conference was by dealers, and that's not what he meant, and it's not really divergent from what he's been saying all along. So there is a clarification quote out there somewhere, but we didn't find it.
Been in time, but just be aware, dealers aren't going away completely. There's some usefulness.
No, that's not what he's saying.
But
yes.
But there was another funny Ford story. We started to go much Ford. We checked around Chevy and GM. They were boring this week.
Yeah.
Ford has.
So we went from Toyota last week to Ford this week.
Yeah, how it worked out. Ford is Ford trolling Tesla. That was the headlines went live this week. Lots of funny comments from that. So basically, there's an adapter in the new F-150 Lightning that allows you to charge Teslas with your Ford pickup. Okay, so I mean, it's kind of funny. Tesla's got the proprietary only system, and they're known for their own charging system. And here's Ford's like, here's a free adapter for you to charge your cars. Kind of funny. So immediately Farley said, no, we're just being helpful. Like he immediately went to Twitter. He was typing right away. And it was just funny. It's like, and I'm like, well, come on, just go with it. What the heck? So so they're initial members. They said he's saying that this Farley's quote, not trolling, just being helpful. But there's photos of this bi-directional charging capability in the F-150 that allows you to charge EVs and charge your house. So you can charge your house, charge your EVs, same bi-directional thing with the energy. And they have this plug.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, they talked about this actually at the Ford F-150 Lightning launch that I was at a couple weeks ago in Texas, and they did a demonstration with a Mustang Mach-E. And you have this adapter cord, it plugs into the F-150 Lightning, and then it basically, gives some power to whatever EV, Tesla, non-Tesla, whatever, to give it a little bit of juice. And I remember during the presentation, I made the remark, I'm like, oh, I could see a day when AAA is an F-150 Lightning going around, changing tires and doing all those things that AAA does. But also, instead of bringing an extra gas can, you just give the car some juice by, transferring some of the power. And they were like, yep, that's exactly it.
Yeah. So
just being helpful.
Not trolling.
No,
not really. But that's and then I have kind of some bummer news I want to bring up. Jill knows this news as well. Our friends at CNET, the video team over there, got completely laid off this week. And so, unfortunately, the business model they had, I guess, didn't work, whatever. And so it was really weird. Jill and I were both at this event last week in Texas. And while we were there, part of the CNET video team got laid off like the day after they landed. And they literally had to pack their bags up and head home because they didn't have a job. And so I just want to give a quick shout out to our friends at CNET who got laid off. And thoughts are with you guys. That's a tough one, and we hate layoffs. But I wanted to bring that up because we don't always talk about that in the business. I think a lot of people assume that auto journalists are just we're doing our thing, we're making our piles of money, we're rich, all this kind of stuff. But that's not the case at all.
Not the
And
case.
there are layoffs in automotive journalism. In this case, it was pretty tough. I mean, the CNET team did an amazing job. They had 6 people on the team. They had three or four presenters. They had video crews. They did a lot of work on their videos, and it's just too bad that. And it's too bad. And it's also kind of shocking that that happened in today's world where, well, guess what, folks? You're watching us on video. So, I mean, it seems like video is a big thing. And I was really taken aback. I mean, I can see, from my business aspect, from looking at my business overall, I would definitely do video all the time. Like that would be a priority for us for sure. The website, we constantly want to work on the website. Can't say growing that, but I just was surprised. And they didn't, and the thing is, they didn't cut down the staff. They did it all off. It was all or nothing, and they were gone.
Yeah.
So that's kind of a sad news. All right, let's hop over to the website and see what's going on over there. So I'll let Jill take over. I will navigate and do my best with my good mouse, not the magic mouse.
The magic mouse is way better than whatever your good mouse is. All right, so a couple of interesting stories on the website this week. We had some news from IIHS. We actually are very intrigued by and love our friends at IIHS, the Insurance Institute Highway for Safety Administration, I think it is, or whatever. But yeah, IIHS is the acronym, more alphabet soup. You know how much we love that here. And they do crash tests of vehicles. And so this week they announced that the Toyota Tacoma has a little bit of a problem. So previously in the crash testing, there was a little bit of a puncture happened in the gas tank, which could cause a fire. So Toyota corrected that. But in correcting that, they kind of have another problem in that the front seat passengers' legs get injured a lot.
Yeah, it was. So I wrote the story, and it was interesting because the IHS was like, "Well, we found this problem," but they made it sound like when Toyota fixed the problem in the gas tank, which was it was a leaf spring getting caught in the gas tank,
Yep.
that it created this other problem. And it's like, no, they were so enthralled by the gas tank problem, they missed this other problem. Yeah. And so basically, what they're finding, and what I said in the story is the crash test dummy had severe damage to their legs. Mm-hmm. And damage to their head as well when they hit that. And basically what it is that it's that front tire that's going through the cabin. I can tell you what that is, 1,000%. And so these automakers have now put wheel blockers or pieces of metal. They go on the edge of the frame, and that stops that wheel from going in the cabin. And a lot of times they do it on crew cabs. Like Ford last year famously did it only on the crew cab, and the extended cab didn't have them. I mean, and I'm thinking right now with the Tacoma, with a new one coming out in a couple of years, I bet you Toyota is not so interested in doing many changes to that frame and moving stuff around when they have a new one coming. So I imagine this is kind of going to go underneath the water with Toyota and just be like one of those things, and do the new one fix the problem.
Yeah, I agree. So that's interesting. Just something to be aware of. We also have a story here about the BMW X1. So it's it's entering the third generation for 2023. And they did some technology and tweaks. There's like this huge, screen going on, which seems to be, par for the course with every new vehicle coming out, lots of big screens everywhere. And they have done that. They've added some safety technology. They've given it the intriguing and polarizing new grille. And actually, I'm going to say on this, it doesn't look bad. When you put it on a sedan, it's a little bit overwhelming. So
I'm just going to pull up a picture here because
some pictures.
So this is that, and they said in the press release this was their kidney size kind of grille look.
Oh, the kidney grille. I mean, that's the traditional BMW grille is the kidney grille. It's like
right. I guess I see buck teeth.
Well, and to me, I don't necessarily see buck teeth. I definitely see large front teeth. But when you look at that grille on a sedan, to me, it's a much more polarizing view than when you see it on an SUV. To me, it kind of works here. So that doesn't bother me. But so there's some design tweaks inside and out, more technology, more screens, and you still get a lot of good driving dynamics. But so you can...
Right. This is the interior screen. And so what happened before, you may not recall, well, maybe I can pull it up in the window, is that this screen here sat on top of the dash,
Oh,
and it was
right.
kind of out of place. And so
Now it's kind of like all connected to like the it looks like behind the wheel gauge, as well as it kind of feeds into one big screen. Yeah, I see on that
yeah,
photo
so
there where
I
it just
can't
kind of pops
yeah,
out up.
right. And so I don't know if that button, well, that's Google Lens. I don't know what the button is. Anyways, it sits on top of the screen. So in this case, they've made it more integrated, and I actually do like this look a
Yeah.
lot better. It's just cleaner. And I bet you they added that screen mid-cycle refresh, and now the no full redone, they're doing a whole new screen.
Yeah. So at any rate, stuff going on there. I love how BMWs drive, so I definitely can't wait to check that out. Especially in the smallest SUV that they make, the X1. I bet that is a blast, and we'll have a more car-like, sedan-like ride for those of us who like those things. I know not everybody does, and by not everybody, I'm pointing at that guy right there. Um, but yeah, so I'm looking forward to it. I think that'll be a good change. We have some Toyota Sequoia stuff on there. I feel like we've kind of talked about that out the wazoo. We mentioned the spec comparison on the live stream last night. So if you haven't watched the live stream, be sure and go back and check that out, because we compared it to the Expedition and the Tahoe. We didn't compare it to the Wagoneer because, as you can see, the screen isn't big enough.
Right, right. It was
So
yeah.
uh,
There was no hate for the Wagoneer. It was just
no,
no room.
it just didn't fit.
Yeah.
So yeah, go to the website, check that out. Especially, for the people who say, "Oh, the Sequoia is so much smaller." No, it isn't. So
No.
it's not smaller. We have our first look review on the website as well of the Sequoia, and then yeah, TRX gets a special edition.
So did you? I don't know if you had time, but the Ken Block video he put out on this was just all over the place. I'm sorry if Ken Block fans, but I was trying to watch it, and it was crazy. Like, I was
I
like,
did not watch it. I did not watch it because I did not have the time. Because, as you pointed out at the beginning, I've been on the road all week.
yeah. I mean,
I saw the pictures. I like the color. I love the idea of adding some interesting packaging to the TRX.
so yeah, so I'm basically sandblast. You get the color, some badging inside. I mean, there's nothing really that's that much difference with it that I saw.
Yeah, I mean, you can't make this vehicle any more capable. I don't think. I think the only thing you could do is add like Inspector Gadget, flying wheels, or the ability for it to like move up and drive over buildings. I think that's the only thing you could do to this vehicle to make it more capable.
Well, and in the story, they in the press release they're talking about. They're like, and Ken Block owns one of these, and I was like, well, of course he does. Think about what he
Yeah.
does for his. I mean, of course he does that. I mean, come on. So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
so that was going on there. So I think that was kind of it on the website.
Yep. For this week, because I think we talked about the
Engine
engine
failure.
failure on the Bronco last week. If not, I apologize. Go to the website, read it there.
Yeah, yep. So I think it's there. No new update on that. It's kind of weird. The 2.7 uses the same engine as the F-150, but they have had problems with it. It's just an oddball thing. Over on the YouTube space, we have quite
We
a bit
got
of stuff
lots of
coming up.
stuff.
Yeah, we've been really busy, and unfortunately, Phil's been really busy too. Sorry, Phil.
Yeah.
We just buried him with stuff. So I'm thinking about here we go. So we did the truck news recap. You did see it last week. Check it out. We were in Toyota's headquarters, so it's kind of cool. Kind of do it there. We
Mm-hmm.
had the Volvo C40 and XC40 kind of comparison.
Mm-hmm.
I got to tell you what, I don't hate the was it C40? Was it the one I
Yeah.
didn't? Yeah, yeah.
The C40 with or was it the XC40 with the more upright, or
I
the
think it was the
C40
X,
with the
maybe one
coupe?
of the two. I didn't. It was okay.
You didn't not like either of them.
Yeah,
Inserting the double negative on purpose there.
right, right. Yeah, double negative. We do have the Chevy Bolt EUV.
Yep.
Again, that actually dropped in price after we did the video. It dropped $6,000. It created a lot of questions online because the tax credit dropped off for them, was
Mm-hmm.
$7,500, and then they dropped the price down to $6,000. So people were making the conclusion that the tax credit was really benefiting them, and they dropped the price.
Well, I think they also had to drop the price because I was just recently looking at vehicles that are on dealer lots the longest, and this is like in the top 5 of vehicles that are on like 2 months. It's on the
Really?
dealer lots basically for 2 months, and I think a lot of that has to do with the bad PR that it had, and the problem, justifiably, bad thing that happened is that the batteries were basically catching on fire.
Yeah.
And so they had to go into every single vehicle they ever built and replace all of the battery packs, and which they've done. So it's now completely safe vehicle. This is me crossing my fingers that nothing else goes wrong, but they fixed the problem. But people still like have it in their brains that this is a bad vehicle and it's going to basically explode while they're driving it, and that's not true.
Yeah, that's a problem with PR.
Yeah.
So then we have some Lexus stuff, the Lexus RX versus the old plus your likes dislikes for the Lexus RX. Interestingly, the conversation on the RX 350 is that front end.
Yeah.
That beak is a beak. It said the front end looks like something like that. Yeah, it
looks like a beak, and they don't like the grill. I've heard people compare it to a postage stamp, like with the perforated edges.
Yeah, so really interesting comments from that. We had the Toyota Sequoia, which we talked about as far as what an improvement. That's our exterior and interior walk around of the capstone. I think one other thing on there. I thought it was really interesting looking at that vehicle. So from a Tundra, having a Tundra outside, it's so interesting to see the little bitty changes they did with Sequoia versus Tundra. And I would take that front end of the Sequoia over the Tundra all day long. I think come on, it looks so much better.
Says you.
Yeah, you have a really slow SUV up here.
Oh, super duper slow. Yep. Very, very inexpensive. I did a first look at the interior and some of the design features of the Cadillac Escalade V, and I was driving the ESV extended wheelbase version. And this was a live stream, so I was in Arizona, and I was in a place where maybe my connection wasn't great, so there could have been some. I honestly haven't watched it since the HD version has uploaded, so maybe that corrected some of the problems. But
it looks a little bit better with the HD version. But yeah, it was what it is. Sometimes this is live, guys. Live stuff happens. We did have the first drive of the Tundra or Toyota Sequoia. We had an interesting discussion about towing, and we're still having an interesting discussion about towing. And it's an ongoing debate. So basically, it didn't tow very well. And there's discussions about a single axle trailer with the Airstream, but Airstreams tow well. Then they added a waste distributing hitch during the event while we're there because people complained about it. Then you have Andre and Alex said it was towed amazing, and I'm like, I don't know what they were thinking. I mean, I
don't know what they towed versus what we towed. So I mean,
and it's funny because they towed the boat and they towed the stuff, but they towed before the waste distributing hitch, and then they put it on after they towed it because people complained so much. So it's kind of just an oddball thing. I don't know what's going on. I felt it. I didn't feel it experience as much as Jill did. Jill experienced more than I did, but hey, we both felt it. I mean, it doesn't have to do with one person driving the other. It was there. And the last time we had a live stream talking trucks number 385. 385. Did he really? So Phil went and numbered these.
He went back and counted
385.
That's like more of than a year's worth of live streams.
So if you missed the live stream, well, you missed 385 of them. Sorry.
Yep.
And then I had an update this morning. The Tundra finally had the infotainment system got updated, software thing, and I guess the funny part with that one is I don't know what they updated. Like it said on the screen that we're gonna do some improvements, but I can't tell.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what they updated. So I don't. Yeah. But all right, I want to head back to the Cadillac Escalade, and because Jill, we were debating what to do with the Jill rant this week. Then Jill sent this in, and I was like, oh.
Yeah, because this isn't necessarily a rant per se. And this was adapted from TikTok. I will not lie. I did this for TikTok, but this is 3 things that I didn't like on the Escalade V. So not a rant, but just 3 things I didn't love.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting. I just finished watching it, and I was like, those are good things.
V this week, and I've actually had people ask me what I don't like about this vehicle. And I'll be honest, as I'm sitting here with the seat massagers on, there's not a lot. But there are 3 things that I can point to. So let's see what those things are. Now, in my video, I talked about this excellent cargo space and the ability to put your 3rd rows up with the touch of a button. However, here's the thing that I don't like. You can put your 2nd rows down with the push of a button, but you can't push them back up. So in order to get the 2nd rows back up, you actually have to use brute force. And I'll be honest with you, doing that with one hand is not that easy. While we're back here, the 2nd thing that I don't really like is going to be this right here. And it's not the climate controls. I actually like the climate controls, and I like the fact that you have heated seats. What I don't like is what's missing here. This is a $152,000 car that I'm sitting in right now, and there are no cooled seats in the second row. Now, the last thing that I don't like about the Cadillac Escalade V is going to have to do with seating comfort. Okay, so the driver's seat, not very comfortable. Front passenger seat, not very comfortable. Both feel like you're sitting on cardboard. Then you get to the third row, and yeah, I'm going to say that cardboard kind of turns to concrete. This also is not comfortable. The two most comfortable seats in the house are going to be these right here. And yeah, I don't know who's spending the most time in the vehicle, but I'm betting it's probably the driver, so I'd like to see that as the most comfortable seat in the house.
So what is it with GM vehicles? Why do the seats? I mean, I don't understand it. I'm mystified by this. I've been talking to my wife about what truck to buy. I want the AT4X, but it may not come in. May be really expensive, all that kind of stuff. So I thought I'll go buy a base trim level Silverado. We'll just do something fun, base. I was like, but I can't sit in it. I'm like, what am I supposed to do? And the seating has changed. I swear to God, it changed in like 17, 18, 19, something in those realms.
Something went wrong. And it's funny because I had a little bit of a conversation with the engineers at the Escalade V program, and because they were like, what did you like? What did you not like? And I was like, your seats, come on. And they're like, well, so here's the thing. Here's the inside baseball on the third row seats specifically. They can't put a lot of padding in those seats because if they put more padding in there, the rear seats won't fold flat.
Yeah. And I mean, and we have heard, I think I've heard over 1,000 comments this week about the full flat floor in the Sequoia, or lack
so
thereof,
clearly very important.
Yes, I wasn't aware that this was such a deal breaker for a lot of people, but apparently it is. And I was thinking $152,000 was a deal breaker, but okay, we'll talk about flat loading floor seats. It was interesting. So yeah, I thought it was good that you brought that stuff up. And I think what's interesting is the cooled seat. People are gonna be like, well, you're just whining, first world problem, whatever. But when it's $152,000.
I know, like, come on. Come on, people.
I mean, you want, at that price point, you want everything. And I thought it was interesting. The other thing you said in the live stream was they had all extended wheelbase Escalades because that's what they had built so far. So they have customers who are lined up for these vehicles. And they want the longer wheelbase. 150 grand. So you guys say that, I'm rich because I bought a $6,000 truck, or we're rich because we fly places and drive vehicles. We're not rich. These people are rich. There's something going on.
Yeah, that costs as much as a house.
Yeah, it is crazy. All right, so let's flash forward to this week. So this week I'm driving a Jaguar. F-Pace. We'll have a video coming up that. Phil has their video done. Hyundai Palisade drops on Sunday. And I believe we have Escalade. Is Escalade getting a video next week? Is that the deal?
Yep, Escalade will drop Monday. We also, I feel like we have one video missing from the Mama Rally, the Jeep Grand Cherokee 4xe off-road. So that should be coming up.
That's on a list. We have a Toyota 4Runner that we drove. We have Jill drove the Lexus LX600. Again, if you think we're rich, check that one out. And I think we have a couple more from the Toyota event. Plus, we have reviews lined up. So we have a lot of stuff coming your way. And this time of year, just so everybody's aware, this time of year, June, July-ish, news cycle gets a little slow because people are on vacation, that kind of stuff. And so we'll do these news recaps the best we can as long as we have filler material to talk about. Or we'll just say, hey, news recap. Okay, bye. Could be a 2-second video.
Yeah, it'll be like as opposed to this 30-minute video we're pushing out, it'll be like a 5-minute video.
Right. Okay, I think that's all we have this week, the truck news recap. As always, thanks for joining us. Remember, our live streams Thursday night. We'll do those as best we can, 6 o'clock. Check the website out, pickuptrucktalk.com. Also, social media, we're all over the place out there. We on social media way too much these days. Anyways, but give us a like because you want to anyways. As always, thanks for watching. We will see you down the road.